Hello everybody and welcome to ETF2L 6v6 Nations Cup number 10, brought to you by Essentials.tf. I am Rook and I'm joined by Ben PL as we are bringing you the matchup between France and Norway here in group stage round 1.
Yeah, it should be a good one, right? We've had the Euros going on in the football recently, and we're joining it in the TF2 servers as well. Just as the football's winding up, we can keep that Euros action going on. And like you say, we've got Norway and we've got France coming into this one. France, one of the heavy hitters recently in these Nations Cups, come second in the last two and fallen at the final hurdle both times to England. So they may be looking to have some revenge on the long haul this time. And for Norway, been a bit of a more tumultuous time in their most recent Nations Cups. Not made it out the groups since 2014, actually. So it's quite a way back since they had their big run. We can do a quick rundown of the rosters as the team's just joining in the server now, though. We've got Nivo, Brugman, Demul, QB, Deli, and Müller over on the France side, and over on the Norway side, Hemp, Seri, Torres, Asian, Zams, and Zeklin. So I think they're starting. Are they rolling out, or are we getting baited?
I mean, it certainly looks like it. Some good early damage here coming out from Zams, managing to establish their team a little bit as they get ready for a chance to go onto high ground. My view is having a little bit of an issue, but Demul already trying to get something.
Yeah, big bombs across the point. These two soldiers, Brugman and Demul, doing so much damage. They're forcing out all these players. Zeklin down to 21 HP on the way out too, getting chased down, hounded down. Asia's going to have a big defensive task to do, but it's not going to be there. Demul jumps all the way around, into the lobby, gets that medic. Asian last alive on that second point and is not going to manage to hold out enough, but great work there from the French side.
Yeah, already managing to take second here, setting up for a chance. Obviously going to try and contest over for lobby, as we already see that turret coming up from Seri, trying to make sure that they at least have some form of defense going here. But it's already taken down, and that means things will take a little bit longer to get going.
Yeah, well, it's big advantage over on Müller's. Not, I guess, too much of a rush. They can play this fairly slow. There's a sniper to deal with. And like you say, this gun's getting built up, going to be hitting level 2 soon, so we'll be pushing it before they get all the way to level 3. And they do just that in 3-4, going to get that gun taken down instantly and get some height established up on top. Is this cap going to come straight through?
Yeah, no, they're just going to go straight forward. They tried to contest a little bit, but unfortunately no one could really get on. Denied as they tried to jump in, and that just shows again how good they are at picking players out of the sky as they try and move a little bit forward, which actually was a big part of what allowed them to get success in the mid.
Yeah, it's on these soldiers, right? Brugman and Demul, like two of the best soldiers that European TF2 has had to offer, and plenty of history between those two. And these bombs and mid caught everyone off guard on this Norwegian side. Potentially be more used to it this time, maybe expecting it, but it's going to be tough for them still.
Demul already in IT, wanted to try and provide a little bit of a flank. We see those soldiers go up and over as Asian tries to jump on top, but those scouts just go through, running right at him. Hemp and Seri tear through the backline there. Really nicely played, but they still get forced off. They lost too many players in that exchange.
Yeah, that sort of side swap with both these flanks basically running through the middle of each other, winning the fights on their respective medics and demos on the opposite side, but when it became just the DM afterwards, the French had the upper hand, didn't lose anyone else other than their two combo classes, the medic and the demo man. But yeah, just nice clean up there from the French side. It's going to be crits coming up on Müller, just taking the opportunity on this even Uber situation, trusting in some big crit stickies from Deli. And Zeklin's going to be sticking out on the regular medigun, so there is a slight crit side coming into this second push.
Yeah, it's going to be about 30%. They could easily leverage us if they get in the right position. But Brugman does take a lot of damage, trades 1-for-1, which means it's not all bad. France start to move on in. You can see Deli very far forward, finally getting supported by those scouts. Demul far in the behind, but not able to provide anything. As you see already, Deli getting taken down, and it feels like this crits might not be up there early. They're going to try and pop it now. Gets a kill onto Zams, but can they push it into anything? Zeklin needs to survive, but just about gone, and Nevo goes huge.
There's 6k in the round from Nivo already. Like, I thought that was over to us. The Deli goes down at such an inopportune moment. The demo dies just as the crits comes up. The round goes through as a formality in the meantime, but I thought it was real rough scenarios there, because Zeklin's close to getting Uber as well on the back of that point, but Nivo comes in, yeah, can't crit the demo, but a crit scout hitting like insane damage with the pistol across the point is still good enough, right? And it wins the round.
Yeah, I thought that ad was going to come out huge for Zeklin, but as he said, it just didn't happen. Going to be back to Medigun versus Medigun here, so stock Ubers on both sides. Deli trying to push forward a little bit more, and D-Mule playing a little bit more defensively this time, but Seri is right on top of them. Needs to be very careful, and that bomb does not work out for Torres. So again, it looks like France have an advantage, and they're looking to try and leverage here. But that's huge until Nevo and Deli push on through, take a couple down. There's some high ground control, and you can see Zeklin in the back here, but unfortunately Deli takes some time before getting it and finally crushes their dream.
That was looking so good just for a moment, but just got caught in enemy death corner there over on the Norwegian side. Like, they had that turn of aggression, right? The last couple of times they've sat back a bit more, they've let the French soldiers do their thing, but this time Torres was straight in, and even though that bomb gets nothing, like, materially, just makes a lot of space, opens up some ground, creates somewhat of a distraction, and Agent's able to get in behind and get in onto Muller, and is Agent coming out of spawn? No, I was getting baited for a second. Agent went to spy for a moment. I think he was just checking for the Medigun in case he decided to go for the crits again, but we've been in this situation before, similarly, but there's players ratting up top IT already, and this base has been taken for free. Second point's already gone, so gonna be a last hold.
Yeah, they were looking to try and maybe get something going in lobby, but instead they back off. They've already got that turret set up for Hemp, trying to make sure it gets up to level 2, all importantly, but does not have the space, does not have the time, and they're going to have to play more passively, as it will actually take down Deli, and again, that's a very important bit to get. Look at those healths. They're so darn low. Bruggeman gets picked as they try to retreat here. This is a big opportunity for Norway.
Yeah, Zam's waddling out up top. They're really wanting to do something with this. Bruggeman and Deli both down, like you said. D-Mule's super low as well, but the trade comes in. Muller used the Uber charge straight into the Norwegian combo. Zeklin has just held on. This isn't a trade, this is a steal. The final Uber charge comes up from Zeklin. The scouts running around all over the shop. Nevo's going to be taken down on the flank attempt back into lobby. And that is actually going to buy a fair bit of time out of this Uber. The Norwegian players still trying to come back in, despite the fact that their Uber was fading in the French side. Just that one little distraction play meant the Uber charge, despite being so much better in, like, lengthwise, just wasn't able to get the frags. And another free last point.
I mean, that was the problem, right? Is obviously there is a distraction behind, but it was a real credible threat. If you, as much as you don't want to deal with that scout in that situation, you want to try and push forward and make good usage of the Uber. If that scout manages to slip by and get on the back gap, you feel like such chumps. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't moment, and a very unfortunate time for Norway, because it looked like they played that so well. They got that Uber advantage, and then unfortunately completely spun, and it shows the quality of France here. Bruggeman just barely surviving, and it's Torres who goes down first. The rest of the team starts to look for a chance to get this high ground. Seri wants to make something happen, but instead it's Bruggeman and the rest of the crew looking to make good usage of that. Lands into the pack, survives for now. As you see the rest of Norway get pushed back, they lose player after player, as Zeklin is going to have to retreat with the rest of their team if they have even a snowball's chance in hell of taking this anywhere.
Yeah, it's falling apart. As soon as they lose that one soldier at the start, if they didn't get that trade kill onto Bruggeman, as was the case, it was looking pretty dicey. Zeklin, some nice little bit of movement there to get out of them rockets. D-Mule, I don't know how D-Mule lives there. Bruggeman doing more damage into 2. This is chaos. The DM on these French players is crazy, right? Like, the survivability, the movement, it's like mechanically they're just a step above. And Bruggeman jumping in already into last. There's no respect, right, for the French side. They're just playing with all-out aggression, and they're even walking in at even Ubers.
Yeah, they're just going for it. You can see those scouts pushing forward, getting the fours, and again, another nail in the coffin of Norway here. They managed to get a pick. They do take D-Mule down finally here. But you can see the players in lobby go, it's our time to shine. They use that Uber. Deli pushes in. Nevo with that backup is trying to make something happen. They don't get a huge amount off the Uber. The space is good, but not much else. They were already at a player disad, so this was very greedy of them. Deli is still somehow alive, putting that damage down, and Hagen is the only one left. As you said, this is French DM at its finest. Mon Dieu.
That was crazy. I don't know how these French players lived, to be quite honest. Everyone had their turn at going down to single-digit HP in the middle of that, and somehow it makes no difference. So 4-0 down. This has been a speed run of a game. This is the process any percent in this game. It's I know I said beforehand the French coming in as favourites, right? But I didn't quite expect it to be this savage, this brutal. But 4 rounds down, Norway, they're potentially having a very quick exit from this game.
Yeah, they are. Bruggeman again looking for a chance to get that bomb. Gets one single rocket. They even take down 2 with it. Sure, there's the loss right on back, but that doesn't really matter compared to the rest of the pressure, the rest of the space that the side of France have. Seri is trying desperately to escape those bombs as they push on forward, but it's just not going to happen. Deli is still alive. Muller is under minimal pressure because Zams is not going to be hitting those, and Zeklin has to run tail between their legs.
Yeah, Zeklin's going out to last, but there's been no beam target for a while. Going to mean a little bit of ad for Muller, and honestly, given the vibes that France have been giving this game, then maybe thinking about using it. But no, never mind. QB decided to come up on Sniper. Is that just going to forward spawn, or are we actually coming out of spawn on the Sniper? I think we're walking out on it. So QB going to just accept to slow things down and perhaps go for some frag clips, go for some heads.
I mean, hey, when you've got an advantage like this, why not? And I mean, I'm excited to see what QB's able to do on it. So far, it's been a big diff in DM department. Interesting to see how they can play around something more passive, like the sniper. Rougeman gets completely stuck up in the rafters and taken down. That's both soldiers gone. And when you're losing both soldiers, obviously when you're on a sniper, that does make it a little harder.
Yeah, you can't out-DM a sentry gun, unfortunately, and you can't out-DM rockets launched into your base. Muller gets forced out. Really awkward moment there, walking up top, but actually the drop comes in. QB onto Zeklin, the sniper comes good. Nevo's in behind, QB's hitting more headshots too, and there's only 2 players left alive. This could be game point over towards the French side. Exams last alive, no health to do it, and that was a sub 10-minute game.
Yeah, I want to highlight very briefly that Asian did hold back like 2 separate players, the remaining 2 soldiers from the French side, but it just wasn't enough. And as he said, the rest of them just went, victory march right into the end there.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I don't know. Like we said before, Kimmer's favours really. France, they've come to the final the last twice. They've also had like a storied history in the Nations Cup, and it's one of those teams like I guess France and England are sort of the 2 teams in the pot where you can make like multiple Prem playoffs level teams with just players from that country. Like they've this roster. Like I was checking beforehand. What 6 players playing for France? Because I look at the team page and there's like 12 people on there, and like any of them can feasibly be in like a top Prem team. Like it's the strength and depth of like a couple of these nations is absolutely crazy. And yeah, like Norway have a couple of top level players. Like Zams won Prem and came second in Poland at the LAN event in February, and has looked like a great demo recently. But I don't know, when there's 6 players popping off to that degree, it's just not a shadow on it. And yeah, sub 10 minutes on process, and there's Gully Wash to come up, and arguably one of the fastest maps in the game. This could be a brief one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful that potentially the Gully Wash could be a little bit better for Norway, because I think in terms of strategy, the way they were approaching things, in terms of, for example, how they were building space on the prior map, it actually didn't look too bad. I was actually pretty impressed with the way they were trying to like go for some of the strategy, but it really was that DM where France, I mean, just literally blew them out of the water. They literally fought like a 3v5, 3v6 on last point multiple times there, and just went, okay, well, we're going to keep on going, and it felt like the members of France just wouldn't die, man.
Yeah, it was a good effort. We have I guess do you want to in the meantime, we've got some funny 5.0 logs. If you want to bring those up, obviously logs in a roll are obviously not the be all and end all. You get some horrendously inflated stats, but I think some of these are particularly inflated. So let's pull these up. There's a certain couple of French players who've had gonna have some good ones on their trends.tf coming through. Just gonna inflate those DPMs, inflate those KDs. Devo 18-1 is quite something for a 9-minute game.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I mean, Nevo was constantly pushing forward, just using kind of the aggression and the space that their team had kind of given them. I think alongside the fact that Delhi was constantly pumping out damage and also on the front line and giving them support, it was only natural that they were going to have as many frags as they did.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance. We can those logs are pretty brutal. We should probably move those away as we move forward. Like I guess I don't know. You have a map where you go map down, and you got Gully Rush coming up, and again Zams is clearly the standout player. Like no disrespect to the rest of the players in this Norwegian team. Like Zams won Prem like literally last year and had a great LAN performance, and has been one of the premier demo men in the top division of ETF2L recently. And Gully Wash is a map where the demo man can really shine, right? Yeah. So maybe there's hope for Zambas to come back into this and have a good performance. But I've got to say the sort of 6-man diff that the French are showing at the moment is probably a bit of a tall order for Zams. Yeah.
No, I've been really impressed with the ability to pick and choose their fights as well from France. They've really been using those soldiers kind of obviously going up for bombs, but not necessarily committing. And I've really liked the way they've just been able to buy themselves time after time after time as they set up and get ready for the play that eventually will be the end all for them against Norway.
Yeah, it's been really well played. Like it's so coherent, and I guess you sort of get that with like the French scene of there's like a lot of players like I was joking before when we were just chatting before the game. I was basically saying, look, this combo of 6 players, like most of it's from Fourth Fence this season. There's a couple of like TLR players and a couple of like Dreamlords returning from a while ago. Like I bet you that this team has played like an ETF2L offie together in like a regular Prem season at some point in history. Like the French scene, like they're all like trading players every season. There's like the same sort of group of players just sort of recycling amongst themselves all the time. So all the French mixes are obviously going on too. So these players have got so much experience playing with each other, even though it is like a Nations Cup. So people aren't playing with their usual Prem team, so to speak. But yeah, the French scene is so well woven like that that the coordination is just there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm loving it, honestly. The way that they are coordinating in particular. I highlighted the scout demo dynamic, but also just those soldiers, Bruchman and Demule, both going for particularly ratty plays, but covering each other when they do so. I have been loving it, so I'm looking forward to seeing another map of it, hopefully. But as you said, Norway have a chance to fight back a little bit here with an emphasis on the demo for Zams, with the map kind of, I think, not allowing those soldiers to create as much space, particularly on last. We will have a slightly slower pace, I feel. You kind of came into this and said that Gully can be very fast, yes, but when you can't do so much rocket jumping, I'm at least somewhat hopeful.
Yeah, it basically all depends on the lifespan of these medics on mid, because
True.
I'm just going back to, again, Agent was actually on the receiving end of this as well at I-71, the grand final. It was Witness gaming against Tony Resort. Agent was playing for the Tony Resort roster, and I think that game lasted about 5 minutes on Gully Wash, because
Wow.
it was just it was right side mids every time, and they just Witness steamrolled through every time. And yeah, it's one of those that if mids don't go well for you on Gully Wash, the rounds can be done in a minute.
Yeah.
Because they're just distance-wise, there's so little distance to cover between the midpoint and the last point. It's so fast in that regard. But yeah, if you get those stalemates, things can slow down. There's plenty of stalemate spots you can get in Gully Wash. But here we go, game going live. Can the Norwegians fight back at all? We'll find out.
Well, indeed. Delhi going on to Background, obviously, to kick things off against Zams here, as you see Demule already getting quite far forward, looking for a chance to maybe go under here. He's looking to pop up behind Zams and provide some pressure. Agent is already gone. You can see Zeppelin moving away as they try to get that, but the soldiers go hard for the side of France, and they completely gut that, with Cubby also finding a couple of frags for their name as they're going to cap that one away, get to second, and it absolutely is a go last already here for Norway. And as you said, without the med, this is going to make things very difficult.
Yeah, this is going to be, especially with that fight going the way of Demule as well. Maybe if Asian gets that one, they slow things down slightly, but with the pick advantage too, the gun's still getting built. There's a huge art. It's going to be so rough for these defending players. It's a claustrophobic last point. There's not a great deal of room to get away from these Ubers, and I'm sure the French will be well drilled. I'm sure they'll do their diligence on this one. Agent still a couple of seconds away from spawning again, and the Uber comes in.
Yeah, they just go for it. They force them back. Zams is waiting down in water as they try and push on out now with that heavy as well. They are able to get a decent amount of damage. Taurus does fall, yes, but the rest of the team seems fine for now. They keep their health up. Hemp is kind of low. That's a big rocket. It takes them down, and that is likely going to be the round. Zams is going to try and hold at the back here. You see the stickies there. She blows, and that will be that.
That was such a the top left spawn in that post. But like, for a moment, I thought that Norway were going to hold on there. I really thought they had a chance. It was 2 picks for 2. Zams was doing such a great job in water. Had dealt with Nevo pushing underneath and was there with the stickies in the point. No cap time was coming through, but just so much damage synchronized up onto that heavy and the soldier on the top left that it was just round over at that point. You're doing like 400 damage in less than a second. There's no coming back from that.
Oh, that's so much damaging in the opening salvo there from Delhi. Seri is losing out to Cubby here. It's getting low, but so is Delhi. A lot of damage, but Asian can't capitalize on it. You can see that Zam pushes forward, takes him down. But where is the rest of their team? Yes, they've got those frags, but they are just piecemeal now. Hula is just sitting around. No one cares to look for them. And brilliantly played. France, they take the advantage again.
Yeah, that was so funny there. I honestly thought Bulu was maybe getting caught out slightly towards the end. I think if there's a bit more health on Taurus and Zams, there's a chance of them walking across and perhaps catching Bulu off guard, but not to be as yeah, Bulu survives. Not going to be quite as much advantage as last time. but still a fair bit of an advantage. Seri trading out for Demul is going to favour the defenders though, meaning there's going to be a equal spawn timers, but Demul's going to have a bit of a longer rollout, so maybe a little bit easier on the defense, but they can just wait, right? Zeklin's only responded, still 30% on that Medigun. It's going to be a long, long time till a blue Ubercharge comes out.
Yeah, and the red Ubercharge already has, you can see, diving deep, just forcing them back into that spawn door. Taurus is gone. You can see Zams again waiting down below. If this heavy can do anything from him, it would be brilliant, but you can see Cubby just going down, looking for that demo. Does get taken down, but the rest of their team is still very much lacking. And again, France, they completely steamroll.
Yeah, it's just the clinical conversion, right, from the French side. It was never really in doubt. Just sort of getting their objectives ticked off one at a time, gun down, pressure on the point, turn their focus to the spawn door. It was all just clockwork perfection on that push from France. And yep, less than 4 minutes played, already 2-0 up. So we're actually ahead of schedule compared to that last map. We'll see if Norway can get anything on this third mid, but again, Zeklin taking a fair bit of damage on the way into elbows, so it's not looking ideal.
Well, it's decent damage to Muller as well, but unfortunately they just can't get anyone in place to capitalize it. The scouts were too good at denying the air, and the soldiers from the side of France are just going in again and again. Bruggeman completely dominating on this soldier, I feel like.
And Zeklin is actually going to get the kill onto Delhi. That's pretty huge. I'm not going to say they might be escaping. There's players on the charge. If they do escape, that is absolutely crazy. Agent just there in time on the spawn. That's absolute madness that Zeklin's able to keep this Ubercharge up, but still only 70%, not been beaming that well, and Muller does have the Uber, does use out the Uber in lobby, and is going to try and use this to burst through, still 80% on Zeklin. The Norwegians are still in danger.
They do have Uber coming up. They're about 10% away, but with losing turrets, again, they're lacking players, and it might not even matter by that point. Uber is available, looking for a chance to use it. Doesn't go just yet, as they seem to just be winning out the fight, but that point was getting capped. Even I didn't see it. QB in an absolutely brilliant position there.
No, this is distraction, right? They were so worried about this Ubercharge, and Zeklin's wanting to time this Uber perfectly. There's players dropping left and right on both sides. Just such a scrap on the low ground in front of the point that QB just thinks, hey, you know what, I'm not going to get involved with that. Just doesn't shoot anyone, just walks it behind and just gets a lot of cap time. And I guess the comms weren't clear enough there on the Norwegian side. They just didn't notice.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so easy to get when you're thinking about all those pressures, all those stresses. Torres is looking for a chance to get damage, but yet again denied by Nevo, who seems to be absolutely on the ball today. Hemp's trying to get some pressure. They take down Delhi, but they do lose another player. They are still negative, even though they are up in terms of taking out the demo. They are going to actually push that one all the way. Demul's in a brilliant position if they can turn that into something. But unfortunately, Bruggeman just can't jump out of there. And instead, Demul is captured, taken out, and separated from the rest of their team. Agent wants to make it happen, but it's going to have to be up to the Rockets. Torres gets some damage, but not until the all-important target of Muller just yet. They do likely take mid, is what I want to say, but it seems like this fight goes on and on and on, and finally, they push them out.
Well, for now, QB has just come back into elbows, so maybe they weren't quite too keen on giving up so fast. QB decides better of it as the Soul Scout alive, and with 3 players up, mid is going the way of Norway, and there is... Oh, before Zams went down, there was a chance. There's a real chance. Just 3 players there. Torres going to bomb in there regardless. 2 rockets in, but Muller dodges and dives, and ducks and weaves, and is not going to be using out on this occasion. 2 players down. France, they've given up mid, but they are going to be walking straight back in.
Uber trade here will be good. Nevo and Muller want to push through. Get some... Yeah, they're trying to take down Zeklin and Seri. And they actually lose the fight. Brilliantly played by Seri there to actually take that one out, but now they are very much trapped. They need to move quickly to Norway if they want to make anything of this. With Zeklin going down, this is not a great position for themselves. They need to try and capitalize on this, and they get a couple of frags. They can take down QB, but they're losing a lot here, and again, the frag power from France might be too much for them, and that's another shot taken down. Zams, Muller finishing them off, and now it's chance for France to push right back.
What an effort though from Seri there. That was a great effort. Takes the trade behind, wins out the 1v1 against Nevo, then, despite the fact that the medic dies, goes onto the low ground, wins the 1v1 with QB as well, and I think also finishes off a soldier in the meantime, but I guess they were the only one finding the frag. Seri got 3, but nobody else managed to find any at all, so French side able to cap the middle point, push themselves through, and have a decent-sized ad on their way into second. There's a sniper to contend with. Hemp here in the forward spawn. just eyeing out, seeing who's on the way in. Delhi going to be tracking that one off straight away. The back spawn comes in, guns up on last already. It's going to be into the last hold.
They might have enough time. They've been building for a long time here for this Seri to try and make this happen, but you're going to have to move on over to someone else to try and build for a second. They will be doing that just fine as Zeklin wants to get something going for their team. You can see that already that sentry is down, and the France side are just absolutely going for it. Demure jumps into the back, takes down Sams. A good headshot onto Brugman might mean they have more space than was bargained for. As you can see, QB yet again underneath, looking to try and rat their way on in this time, but Norway, they've wisened up for their tricks.
Yeah, losing the demo man of Zams there was such a good bomb through the middle. It just means that with Zams there, right, Zams is like the glue holding down the backside of the point underneath from water. And with demo down, maybe there's a chance for a push to come in, but Brugman and Demule going down in synchrony means that nothing is going to come of that. Attempt at a counter-sack, Agent going to be running top lobby, and actually Delhi gets caught out, so 1-for-1, soldier for demo man. Norway seem interested in trying to make something work, with Torres on the medic. Body blocked out by Nevo. This might be 2 players too many on the defense. Dropped out. Uber charges exchanged. Agent going to be spawning in, but there's so many flashes going around from Zeklin. It's going to be a rough post Uber for the Norwegians.
That is Nevo so far forward, right up in their grill. Brugman even wins versus Seri down there, and that will be another round. And as you said, the positioning that they got, the fact that they focused on only one person in that Uber, did mean they were able to get a lot of value out of it. They were able to kind of just sit there, chill, not have to worry about anything else, whereas kind of Norway was sat there trying to just, you know, split it between a couple of people, make sure they both stay alive, because there was so much threat on everyone there that they were kind of forced to. And again, France playing well with the Ubers, playing well when it comes to DM, and having so much control. Sams with such an aggressive positioning this time. I love it coming out from them. Norway trying to switch things up, trying to hit a pinch hitter, but unfortunately they already lose Taurus. Delhi does go down, however. They can leverage this quite well. They're pushed back into here. Zeklin making sure Agent has the health to try and contest this, but they're losing a couple of players while the med is healing no one, and that might just be the problem, as already they've flipped on over. And as you can look now, they've swapped sides. Norway might just get pincered here. Zams is out in the open and is completely gutted, and Seri and Zeklin are just torn apart too, as France, they're looking like it's going to be double 5-0 in very short order.
Yeah, so the protocol there, like when there's a team getting caught behind, they're really wanting that Uber charge to go, because then they can at least run into mid, take a trade, and then try and get back out again. But Zeklin just wasn't quite able to get it up in time, and Hula using into last already. There's cap time coming through. There's players bombing onto the point. This could be round over, game set match. Going the way of France. Agent last one to fall. 5-0, slightly slower than process, but still combined game time of what, 20 minutes? What a performance.
Yeah, I mean, again, showing us why France are probably one of the most feared teams in this competition. You were saying as well before, the depth of the quality of players on this team from this nation is absolutely terrifying. And even if, let's say, for example, people can't turn up, you know, they've got legions of players ready and waiting to bolster this squad.
Yeah, what a game. And I've got to say, like, credit to Norway, right? Because in that map on Gully Wash, there was a bit more fight than what we saw on Process. On Process, they never really had those moments of aggression where things were really flowing and going well for them. We saw like little glimpses of it in this second map. We saw the particularly round number 4, I believe, where they won the mid. They had some pressure into second. There was that awkward Uber exchange, and then even on their own last, they got a couple of kills, started trying to take lobby, and then yeah, the age-old Dr. Underscore saying comes out, the push out equals big mistake when they got caught in lobby. But I like the effort. I respect it. Like they really had to go at it, and they really give it the best shot they can. But at the end of the day, like they were just outclassed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even trying some of the more, out there strategies. I love the fact that Zams pushed up onto their opponent's position, was getting really aggressive in that last round. Sure, it didn't work out, but as you said, tried as they might. And I've been really impressed in general by just the quality of play. So nicely done by them, and I hope they have a little bit more success later in the competition.
Yeah, well, obviously there's still a group stage, right? They're not out.
Yeah.
It's not unfortunate, like in the sense of obviously they run against France, but it's not over for them. They actually have 2 more games coming up in their group. They're playing against Portugal and they're playing against Scotland, and honestly, like those are both games that, looking at this like Norwegian side, they should be close games. I think Norway definitely still have a chance of getting out of this group if they can just turn up on those other games, because yeah, France are of course runaway favourites for this one, but that battle for second place could be pretty interesting. Do you want to bring logs up? Are we fancying some logs? do we think, before we move on? We've got some more 5-0 logs, some more funny ones. Moolah not dying is probably the
Wow.
highlight. And is that 500 DPM on Bruisman as well? Dear me,
Jesus.
this is brutal. But yeah, some classic little 5-0 logs for you all. But I guess we can start to wrap up. There's a quick one, so
Well, yeah.
let's not delve in it too much. It's been good.
I mean, as you said, we've had an absolutely star-studded cast from the French side. And if you guys obviously like star-studded players, star-studded casts, don't forget about the awards show on Sunday here on the Essentials.tf channel. Really looking forward to that. You guys should definitely be tuning on in. I don't exactly know when it is, the TF2L awards show, but do you have the time?
I do. It's at 8. It's 20 on
Okay.
on Sunday, I believe. But yeah, we've got Turbo Beta coming in. I think JMX will be there as well. And we've got plenty of Prem players coming in to talk about their season. There's awards for the best everything in the previous season. Everything you can think of. There's a best one of it last season. And yeah, we're gonna have those awards presented. So do be there this weekend. There's an ETF2L announcement post for it. So yeah, it should be good. Hope to see you all there for that one. There might be some more Nations Cup happening towards like the earlier end of next week. I'm not really too sure. The games are still sort of getting scheduled, but that's been us for now. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you for that award show this weekend. So goodbye, everyone.